Yay!
And we are live.
Woo!
Woo, 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 woo. Yes, we are. Here we are. We are live. Awesome, awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is so good to be here. And I want to start off with a poignant question, a question that's been on my heart and mind. Are you a powerful Black woman who typically feels confident, but because of what's been going on, you kind of feel a little anxiety and fear bubbling up inside of you? Or do you feel so overwhelmed or uncertain about how to navigate through this upheaval caused by the COVID pandemic? Well, if you're like most of us, you will be raising your hand to one of those two questions. So I am Regine, everyone. Hello, hello. And I am the owner of Black Butterfly Journeys.
And I'm Tosh Patterson, and I am the creator of Work Less, Travel More.
And we've been having, Tasha and I have been having conversations about how the whole COVID pandemic is forcing us to shift out of the masculine energy into a feminine energy. So for as long as we can remember, for certainly as long as I can remember, I feel like we've lived in the space of getting it done, making it happen, hustling and bustling and doing it, right? And initially we had to do this for survival. My mama did, her mama did. And then I think eventually we're just now doing it out of habit for some of us. I think what's happened is that we're essentially living from this masculine energetic headspace.
Yeah.
So Tosh, what's when someone hears the phrase masculine energy, right? What does that mean, and how can we now shift into a feminine energetic space?
Yeah. Well, one of the things you and I have been talking about is just that as a woman who is ambitious and driven and like get it done and very focused, that's the state of being that we are used to coming from. And another example of that kind of driven, ambitious, focused energy as a woman also translates into, you might say, oh, let me think about it. Let me research it. Let me do all of these things outside of myself besides listening to my own intuition. And maybe another example is you feel guilty about resting and stopping and like taking a nap or just giving yourself time and energy because you feel like it should be given to other tasks, other people that you consistently need to be productive. And so, that's been part of our conversation about in this realm of the pandemic. It's really forcing so many driven, focused, ambitious people to contend with that's really not so much an option right now. Like you're being forced to slow down and forced to be calm and forced to turn inward if you're open to hearing that voice and going into that space.
Yeah, it's interesting. This morning, in kind of preparing for our talk today, I was just, we've been talking about how this pandemic is also causing planetary shifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like scientists are seeing that the air pollution is lessened, has decreased, and the sound
Animals are coming out.
animals coming out, right? And one
Yeah.
of the things I read was that the sounds of the earth makes,
Yes.
and the human factor, trains and cars and so it's hard for them to hear like seismic rumblings or something that is happening, like an earthquake that's getting ready to erupt somewhere, or something. It's hard for them to hear because of all the noise.
Mm.
But because we've gotten quiet, they can hear the earth more. And it immediately sent chills up and down my body, because one of the things that we're always talking about, especially when we're going on retreats, is that you have to be still to hear the still small voice, right? And so
Right.
this is like happening on such a big level, on a planetary level, where the earth itself, like, we can now hear things because we're collectively being quiet that we couldn't hear before.
Yeah. I mean, really, the pandemic is causing a lot of like people are having different experiences with it, of course, but the reality is it's the shot heard around the entire world globally. And as humanity, we're just being forced to just like pause for a moment. And it's just a way of being that we just have not been in the past. Like we've really been in that masculine space of go, 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 push forward, hustle, bustle, grind. And now it's like, okay, we're being forced into a more feminine energy, because men and women both have masculine and feminine energy, but collectively we tend to live in a more masculine energy. So now with the pandemic, people are being forced to deal with that other side of their humanity. And the other thing you and I have been talking about, Regine, is that there are a range of ways that people are responding to the pandemic. So you can have a very masculine response that's like, okay, well, this happened. It is impacting me negatively or positively, and I need to like restructure all the things in my life. Or the pandemic is here, it's happening, and I'm going to not react in that same way. I'm going to be opened up and quieted down and reflective about where I am in my life, what I want for my life, what's next, what this is teaching me. So there's a whole, range of ways that people can be responding to this. And it's not, and my comment is not to make light of the fact that people are experiencing, big traumas, including death and illness and financial, shakeups, all the way from the other end of the spectrum, where there are some people who are not heavily impacted by it. So, it's like a range of responses, a range of awarenesses, a range of impact, and that's just the reality of the current situation that we're dealing with and managing.
Yeah. So as you said that, it reminded me of a statistic that I read around how much air pollution and all of the associated issues around air pollution. Do you know that, and this includes water and nitrogen dioxide and all of the things that are caused by cars and trucks and power plants and all of these things. Well, apparently the World Health Organization estimates that conditions stemming from exposure to ambient pollution, and that's all kind of the range of pollution, includes strokes, heart disease, respiratory illnesses, kill about 4.2 million people a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. And so, not to make light of the fact that, thousands and thousands of people are dying because of COVID, but when you really look at the damage that the way we were living before was causing,
Yeah.
including deaths to the tune of 4.2 million a year, right?
Yeah.
It was just not sustainable. It was just not sustainable. So Tosh, do you mind sharing? I want you to share your little business. I want to, you don't have to go deep, but do you mind sharing your own masculine, feminine energy shift, I guess, that happened around this time with respect to your job and how, the timing of it all and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that people may or may not know is that I have worked full-time government employee for many, many years and have had my side hustle and my business, my retreats kind of like parallel to my full-time job. So I finally decided that this year, 2020, was my year to leave the job and step fully into my business and be of service and all of those things. And I was really super duper, I am still excited about it all. And so I decided that I would work until May 2nd as a full time W 2 employee.
March,
And
March.
then I would make my transition into my business full time. So May 2nd was like my last day on the books with the government. And then around May 8th, I
March.
can't, March. Oh, sorry, I'm saying the wrong month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so March 2nd. So March 2nd was like the last day on the books. And then March 8th-ish, things really started to blow up with all of the COVID and pandemic stuff. And I had this moment, like a real, oh shit, what did I do? Because, the job has certainty and me being in my business is uncertain. But what I really started to lean into is that uncertainty is always in the background, like it's ever present. Even when you have a full-time job, like they could lay you off, you could be terminated, something could happen. And what I'm saying is we get to choose how we respond to this situation. So I could have been in a completely masculine energy and trying to like figure out another viable, predictable way that my career is going to go now that I'm not in that full-time position. However,
Right,
I
because
just,
can I just jump in here? Because
yeah,
not only were you not working, but because of the COVID, and the travel, right? So the retreats that you had planned for
right. That's
2020,
true.
for 2020,
That's true. Yeah.
you know, so
Gone.
both of us are in the travel business, and so
Right.
when to look at this from the masculine perspective and say, oh crap, my business of travel is being negatively impacted by this, right?
Right.
Do I get distraught? Do I get paralyzed? Do I like try to work harder or get angry, just all the things that you're talking about, or like you say, lean into the uncertainty.
Right, which is, definitely a departure for how I've been, so to speak, and, really trusting that everything will happen for my highest good. And I'm not saying I don't have moments of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then I have to say, okay, I don't know exactly how everything is gonna look, but I believe and trust in the best for myself, my life, my family, and that it will work out. And that's not being Pollyanna, but that's tapping into a different way of being than I was before. And so, I'm coming to you saying that full-time job is removed. My retreat business retreats have all been removed because of this. And so now I'm left with, okay, well, how can I trust my intuition? How can I begin to look for different and new opportunities and really come from a place of abundance and not scarcity, even in the face of something that's creating so much unknown and overwhelm for humanity, right? So, yeah, so that's I'll just stop there so I'm not rambling, but that is definitely a way in my own life that I've been dealing with this masculine way of being versus a feminine way of being, um, and really learning how to nurture that even more, that feminine energy even more.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I don't think people really think about, because it seems like it's so natural, is that many of us were feeling a lot of anxiety, or either a lot of anxiety or like this low level background anxiety.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Feeling like, you can't quite be at peace.
Yeah.
Like there's always something going on in your mind, something to do, something to think about. Um, and so so many of my clients and women that have come on retreat say the same thing. I can't rest at night. I can't go to sleep because my mind is always working overtime, right? And then we also feel this disconnection from our joy and from our passions, because if I'm always in my head, if I have this anxiety waiting for the shoe to drop,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to be in connection and contact with my inner joy, with my inner passion, which, if we follow it, is going to lead us to a more of abundant space, right, with our careers and our life and our lifestyle. And the other thing is that living from that masculine space, living before, BC, before Corona, we had, especially as Black people, we're seeing it now, right? The underlying health issues, right? Caused by stress, caused by
overwhelm, overwork, overdrive.
That's right.
Lack of self-care, lack of prioritizing, connecting to nature, lack of prioritizing, we prioritize everything. Work typically comes first.
Yeah.
Instead of ourselves and our self-care.
Yeah. Work comes first, and then we'll get to what we need to do for ourselves later. And
it never happens.
Gets pushed back. You got kids, you got a husband, you have a wife, you have family obligations, all the other things. And then you're at the bottom of the list, and then now you're feeling depleted, and then the cycle continues. And that's what was happening BC. That's what was happening to us individually, collectively, and the planet. And so now we have the big pause, right? How are we going to pivot into a new way of being? Because this is going to end, right? Eventually, we're going to go back to work, and although things may change, social distancing still may be at play, but eventually this is going to pass. We do not want to go back to the way things were for ourselves and our families. Like, we don't want that. And so for that to not happen, we have to start right now integrating new ways of being and thinking and behaving, so that we can create habits that's going to sustain us when the changes start to take place, as soon as maybe a month or two from now, right? And so, like, we don't have a lot of time. Like, this is critical. We got to get it in now before we go back to business as usual. And so, what that looks like from my perspective, and I think, you and I have been talking a lot about it, is, a lifestyle that has more rest.
Yeah.
Because God forbid you take a nap in the afternoon, or you rest, you feel guilty, you feel like, oh my God, I got to be doing something. You only rest when you're sick. And so for some of us, we cause ourselves to be sick in order for us to rest. That's the psychological stuff that we play, because resting is such a no-no. And of course, for Black people, I fundamentally believe this. That's a colonized way of being, and we needed to do that in order to survive, because on the plantation you could not rest. If you rested, you would be whipped, killed, or separated from your family. So we integrated into our DNA, into our mindsets, that rest was not acceptable. Yes. And so we pass that along to our children and so on and so forth. And then on top of that, you just have this whole Western idea. America is about work, work, work. When you travel and you visit other countries, Europe and South America, they have siestas in the afternoon, and it's a whole different perspective, right? So we need to be, especially now, like now is the time, making sure that you are including rest in your daily life, more playfulness, right? Find ways to be a girl, and to do things that that are fun and playful. And this is Tasha's realm. I don't know if you want to add something specific here with respect to playfulness and self-care, Tosh. But
Yeah, I really think the call to action is to stand up for your own self-care, because that looks like different things for each of us depending on so many variables, like, family commitments and, financial access and like all these things. But we do have to use this as an opportunity for us to stand up and say, no, self-care is important. And then the next step is to say, well, what does self-care look like for me as a mother, as a fill in the, whatever your obligations in life are, that will color what is available for you in terms of how much time you have for self-care and all of that. And it's just so important to articulate that for yourself so that you can begin to fold it into your life. Self-care isn't just a mani-pedi. Self-care could include having healthy boundaries. Even if you are working from home, not working in the evening, not working on the weekends. It could be spending more time with your kids in a more meaningful way. And so all of these things are available for us to consider and have always been, but we've been so hurried, so busy, so distracted, so preoccupied that we haven't delved into those kind of considerations for ourselves. So now is the, hey, wake up. What does self-care look like for you? How can you start to put that into your life and make yourself a priority consistently? Like, even once the quarantine is over, really saying, I matter, I'm on the schedule, I'm prioritizing myself so that I can be well and live a good life and thrive and not be in anything other than abundance, because that is available to us. It's just that we constantly live from a place of lack.
yeah, yeah. And then another thing I think we need to be taking advantage of is, connecting with nature and the sacred. And so, go outside. I know that it's not 80 degrees everywhere in the country right now, but go outside and get some sun and spend some time walking and really connect. I mean, these things seem maybe to some people either not necessary, or they don't see the linear relationship between doing this and getting more money, doing this and having a good career doing this. And so it's hard for some people to make that transition, right? I know for sure if I want to get a job, I need to look at the want ads. But if you're suggesting, if what we're telling people, well, start to give to yourself and see how that um, uh, amplifies or helps you get a job or start a business. It's not going to be a straight line, but I'm telling you, it's an investment that's going to pay off 10 times over. So for right now, just to give you all, a specific example that I'm going through, like Tosh mentioned, I'm in the travel business. Like, I'm telling people, leave home and travel, right? And so we can't do that right now. So right now I'm having to pivot, and I'm having to think about, other ways to serve and other ways to be present in my business. And every time I personally start to feel a little anxious or start to question or wonder, like this afternoon after our call, I'm going to take, take a course and really invest in my chakras and invest in my energy centers, you know, is and so and I have to think back, when I was in my have no idea what I was going to do when I grow up. After I lost my job a few years ago, before I created this business, it was the daily work, meditation, prayer, visioning, journaling, affirmations. That's what birthed my business. It wasn't anything external. And
It
so,
wasn't working harder, knowing more, learning more. It wasn't that. It was the nurturing yourself so that you could tap into your small voice and then be directed from there about the next best things, which that's the feminine energy. That's the power of what can move us forward in ways that don't make sense on paper, but totally make sense in the universal realm.
yeah, absolutely. And so we have to learn new skills in order for us to navigate this new world and start to live from a space of the heart versus being in our heads and our compulsive minds. And so Tasha and I have been talking about this. We've been walking the walk as much as possible, and we wanted to invite you all to an opportunity where we are going to be discussing these exact subjects, right? How to drop old, worn, destructive habits and trade up for more nourishing and nurturing habits that promote our individual and collective well being.
And we're just really preparing for a virtual weekend of sisterhood and sharing and learning. And it's going to be intimate and it's going to be transformational in that you will have the tools you need to be able to shift out of that masculine way of being into more feminine ways of being and be able to powerfully deal with whatever the COVID stuff is driving up for you, because there's not only living through the quarantine times right now, but as Regine was mentioning earlier, we're going to transition back into some new kind of normal. And these are skill sets and ways of being that you'll be able to carry into the new normal to be able to really cultivate a life that you want to live.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so we would love, love, love for you to join us. It's going to be a completely virtual retreat weekend. It's April 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's a couple of hours on the 24th Friday, a couple hours on the 25th Saturday, and then on Sunday, our final day is going to be actually an assignment that we're going to send to you on video that you can enjoy on your own time. And it really will be, we want you to walk away from that experience empowered, excited, enthused, with specific tools on how you can begin to shift immediately into this feminine way, because we can't go back. It's no bueno. We're not going back to the old masculine way. That was just not sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to invite you to consider joining us for the weekend of April 24th through the 26th. And it's only $37. And Regine, you'll pop the link in the thread, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna do
people
it
can
right
sign up. So you do need to have a laptop or a computer or a phone, some device you can use to be able to see us so that we can see you and lead the activities every day. And we're just really excited about this and want to make it so that as many people as possible can get access to this information and really
now.
powerfully show up and shift out of the old world, which is what we're calling the masculine. So if you look at, like a buckets, the old world was the masculine way of being before COVID. Then there's a big pause button, COVID. and then we're going to walk into a new world. And we're here to suggest that the new world will be requiring you to use more intuition, more awareness, more feminine qualities, feminine ways of being that maybe you haven't had to tap into or cultivate as much in the past. And now is the time to learn how to do that, because we're shifting into a whole new world, um, as a result of this big pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. And let me just say a couple of things. Like, um, it will be recorded. So if you cannot watch it live for whatever reason, I think Ray had said that she may be working.
Yeah.
It will definitely be recorded, and you can do it, watch it on your own time, and then, engage in the activities on your own time. And we are really, we really want everyone to come and join us, which is why the price is $37, because we don't want money. Some people are maybe on furlough, lost jobs, all of those types of things. We don't want that to be an issue, and it's going to be recorded. So if you have other obligations, family obligations, then you can make sure that you can watch, when you can. And this is going to be an example. If you haven't been able to take time for yourself, this is going to be a great way to do that, because you have to invest in yourself. And this is one way to invest in yourself, by giving yourself the 6-8 hours to do the inner work that is you're going to be rewarded. There's no time when you don't prime that inner pump, when you're not rewarded externally. There's no time that doesn't happen. You will always be rewarded for investing in yourself in ways that you can't even really begin to imagine. You just have to do the inner work, and trust me, God's gonna just show out show out for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the link is up there. Share this with your sister friends. It'd be great for girlfriends to do this together, to support each other, and then to also to continue to keep the conversation going. And I fundamentally believe, like, I don't know about you, Tosh, we talked a little bit about this, but when you're looking at trends, and I study some trends around wellness and so forth. When you even think about the idea that wellness travel has increased almost exponentially over the last few years, meditation and all of those more Eastern kind of traditions are more commonplace. This COVID-19 thing, people are like waking up. So if you have, and I believe that this is also going to be giving people opportunities around their careers and their purpose. And so if you can lead, if you can be a leader in your life, in your community, in your family, to help people realize that we need to change the way that we're doing things, and then to find a way to support people who are interested in this shift, you're going to make lots of money, because people are looking for new ways to do things. It's just that we may not have known about it. And certainly for us in the Black community, a lot of these concepts are new. But I'm telling you, if you're looking for ways to use your gifts, your skills, and your talents, find a need and fill it. And this COVID is giving people so many new opportunities to shine if you take advantage of it. That's just an aside.
Well, and actually, so I was watching, Sunday morning talk shows, all the political shows with my husband. And one person who came on there, Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, was saying, yes, there are many businesses that will be, devastated as a result of the COVID pandemic. However, he said the next, 20 best businesses will be birthed as a result of this, because people will see a need and fill it, and society won't even know that they needed that until this moment. So this moment created the opportunity for a whole slew of huge businesses and opportunities. And so again, it goes back to, how do you want to come at this situation? Do you want to come at it from, this masculine thing of, I had my life plan like this, and I thought my life was going to be like this, and COVID messed it up? Or is it, I have my life plan like this, it's not going like that because of the pandemic? How can I shift? How can I pivot? What opportunities are here for me and those I love? Those are the two essential different ways that you can approach this situation. And there's
Mhm.
no right or wrong. It's just an awareness about what you're choosing and how you're choosing to look at the face of what this is bringing up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an exciting time. I mean, I know that, that there's
Well,
loss.
let's say this, it can be an exciting time because we
Maybe.
don't want to make it wrong. We don't want to make people wrong who don't feel this is exciting, who feel like they're devastated and maybe they're attached to a masculine way of being. And it's like, we want to show you a new path, but there are some people who are there, they're not here.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It can be exciting as well as, but in any time when there's real opportunity, there's always crises and pain. And out of that is, does the birthing of newness, right? The whole idea of a butterfly, right? Going through the cocoon and the metamorphosis, the darkness and the discomfort,
Yeah.
to be birthed as something new. And so that's the cycle of life. Like we can't avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I found that statistic about how many deaths were caused by the old way of being, 42 million per year. So that what's happening now pales in comparison, you know, and we don't think about how many people, especially us, y'all. Let's be real, right? All these, 5G networks and all this, all this damage to the environment, that because we may live on the wrong side of town, that
Yeah.
that goes into our water system,
Mhm.
pollution, all those things are killing us as a people, have killed us as a people.
Yeah.
We ain't up in arms and doing social distancing for that,
Right.
right? So let's be real about what happens, and so yeah, and so if we can start to be open to the idea, the notion that all things work together for good, no matter what it looks like in reality,
Mhm.
then we can start to see the blessing in this. And then when you start to see the blessing in it and you start to look for the blessing in it, then you start to create the blessing in it for yourself and your community. Then you on your way. You're on your way. Okay, we can be talking all day long, Tosh.
I
You and
know, but this is great. Hopefully, it serves someone, and or more than someone, it's served many, to at least start to have you look at this in a different way. And if you want to go beyond this conversation and actually get the tools to help you navigate, then join us for the virtual Black Goddess Retreat happening April 24th through the 26th. The link is in the chat, and we hope to see you there. It's only $37.
Yeah. So can we just give some love to our ladies? We got to give love to our ladies. Hi, Sam. So Sammy says, I'm taking this time doing self-care, praying, focused on getting my business up and running.
Woo!
I can honestly say that I'm okay. I'm so proud of you. I'm so
That's
proud of
awesome.
you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Hey, Yvette says greetings. Miss Pat is up here. Hello, Regine and Tosh. Yvette says,
Hey.
yeah, stand up for your own self-care. I know you're doing it already, sis. Sending you big loves. Miss Glow is here. Hey, Ray. Ray says, hi, beautifuls.
Hey.
Oh, you said something and she said she loved it. I don't know what it is, Tosh. Glow says, it's good to see you, Tosh.
I know y'all. I be whatever.
So Ray is working, so she hopes that the times line up. Do we know what, do we want to share the times, Tosh?
Oh, yeah. So Friday the 24th is from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that's going to be an opening circle. And then on Saturday, the 25th, we're going to do 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern time for the main sessions where you're going to get the tools. And then on Sunday, we're going to release to you a video that you can watch on your own and then do an activity that we have planned for you.
Yep.
So that's the whole weekend.
Okay.
And everything will be recorded. So if there's something you want to come back to, or if you can't attend the duration of Saturday, then you'll have the recording to access.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So hopefully that works for you, Ray. Glow says walking into a new world. Love it. Angela's here. Hey, Angela. Kashasha's here. Hey, Kashasha. Ray says yes, Regine. Um, Glow says see a need and feel it. And Sherry's joined. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. And please share this. Invite your sister friends. We really think it's going to be a powerful opportunity to learn some new things, of course, to connect. That's always nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, and up our game, up our personal self-care game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that's it.
Yes. Awesome.
All right. Oh, Pat says she's signing up. All right, she's working, but she's gonna be a part. Yes. Awesome. Awesome.
Yay.
All right, well, that's it, ladies. Have an amazing day, amazing weekend, and we will see you soon.
Yes. Be safe. Stay well.
Safe. Yes. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.